Good morning. Welcome to Options Center. It is Wednesday, July 23rd, 2024, about 15 minutes to noon Eastern Standard Time. We're doing this intraday. If you want to get these videos intraday, feel free to be a supporter. It's 99 cents. Otherwise, you'll get these videos public at 4 p.m. All right. Thanks for joining us here. If you're new, go down to that bottom right-hand corner, hit that Options Center logo, and subscribe. We're going to go through SPY, QQQ, and VIX on daily and 65. I don't need to do the long term. I'm just gonna, we have pretty much just a trade set up here. We're looking for one more leg down going into FOMC, and I'll show you what that might look like. Okay, so let's get into it. We had that bearish rising wedge that we're filling out on the daily time frame, broke down, had a throw over, got a little overextended into support, which this is the 2000 trend line, this white one here I'm highlighting, bounced off of that and horizontal support, and in my opinion was a dead cat bounce. We don't have confirmation that that's just a bounce, but it looks very corrective, and we're right into the 8 EMA, which is our trending indicator to the downside. So we came into some retracements, and we'll look at that in the 65 minute. Let's go ahead and change boards here onto the Fibonacci and Elliott wave. So we talked about the back here, this being resistance at the 162. We got our rejection from there. We're getting it. Nothing's in a straight line, you guys. So we're getting our bounce here into the time references. We have 724 on this one. We talked about that yesterday and in the past days. Also time references on the weekly as well, 723, which is today. So that's our time frame today into tomorrow. And I'll be looking for a top there. We're already positioned, well positioned to the downside. I do have a few Dow components left, and Lulu as well. Boeing's working out really well today, and just a hedge to the upside if price wants to creep a little bit higher. All right, so we have those time references. If and when we start to get our descent, our next leg down, we're looking at some maybe 730 around the end of the month, and then next after that 8.5. So somewhere in this zone we'll be looking for a bottom to occur, and in my opinion that will be a bottom where SPY is likely to try to get a new high, while the Qs in my opinion will get a lower high. Now, that's what we're looking for. That doesn't mean that's what has to happen. And I'll tack the videos up top and at the end. But if you want to know what we're specifically looking for on forming this top, then you have to watch any one of these videos that I post at the end. I reiterate it many times. This is just a maintenance video. I want to get through some things. And here's the Qs on the daily. Daily trend is our friend. So we had this channel here in the Qs, rejected off the top of it. We're at the bottom of the channel now. So we're getting our bounce right into the 8 EMA. That's very important. If you're bullish and you want to see these gaps close, we got to get over the 8 EMA and hold over it, close over it. And then you'll get some, it's likely you'll get some follow through there, but we're looking for a rejection here. It's a shallow bounce, and that's exactly what we're looking for, because we're looking for a 5-wave move down. We're looking for a 3-wave move in SPY, but a 5-wave move down in the Qs. So we should break this channel, and then after that, this could be a pretty devastating move, and that's what I talked about in the past videos. And when we get to the lower time frames, make sure you stick around, because we want to talk about what the last leg, if we get that, what it should look like. Okay, there's 2 ways this could go after this leg commences. Now, what we're looking at is a left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. Okay, it doesn't have to get up to these levels here, the 486, but if it does, then it's just going to change our thought pattern. We're going to say that the 5-wave move or 3-wave move is already in, and this bounce, if it starts to go higher, even to close the gap, then we'll be talking about this being a clear corrective move at this point. With this being a 3-wave move, likely, if this does end up being an impulse move, we'll still get the same thing. Whether you're bull or bear, we're looking for the same idea. It's just whether or not. Our last video on Saturday, we talked about exactly what we're looking for if the bounce rejects from here, and what we're looking for if the bounce rejects from a higher price. Now let's go over to the VIX. And here is a big clue on what's happening today. So the VIX had a nice move to the upside. And after that move, we saw that this was a possible reversal candle. We got the reversal into the 8 EMA, which I didn't think would hold. It's holding it now, but really what was happening was it price retested the 200-day moving average. And that's a huge spot here. So it's likely that VIX, I think, is going to get a new high here and possibly even wick through this this major trend line here, which is a wedge. And I don't think it's going to hold above the wedge for very long. Might get above it and wick below it. We'll see what happens, but I do think we do make a new high. And the higher the VIX goes, clearly the market is going to be headed lower at that point. So the market can even head lower as the VIX retreats as well. But seeing the spike means that, which is a large spike here today in the 65, something is going on, and I think we're getting our reversal on the market right now, right here. So let's go back to SPY. We'll go back around the board, and we'll wrap this video up. Not a long one, but just a very important one. We're at a critical moment. So first of all, traditional technical analysis. This is the wedge filling out. Then on the lower time frame, we had another wedge that formed that gave us that throw over, rejected off the top of the wedge, had a bearish falling wedge form right into support with positive or bullish divergence. We got our pop out of here, and we're waiting today, just grinding to the upside. Very corrective type move. This is you could draw this out as a wedge. Bearish flag. And this is the flag here. And we're looking for this to break down. We got into the box that we talked about for the last few days, right into our time relationship, which is today, 7:23. We had that marked for quite some time now, and we're getting into there. So remember, this doesn't tell us where price is going, but when price gets to a point, especially a target, into a time relationship, that's when you have a trade setup. So our trade setup is for a short. We're already in those shorts. We have the call, those individual name calls that are going to hopefully provide some protection if price wants to go a little bit higher. Okay, and after we get down to this move, notice we didn't get to the options expected move. If we don't quite get there, then it's highly probable for price to touch one of the options expected moves. Now, I know that price has gone up from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, not today, but now we have a high probability that we might even touch the options expected move to the downside if this side is not touched. I know that looks like a very far move down, but that's the risk here. And then we have some catalysts going into tomorrow with GDP and such. So lots of things happening. Also tech with Tesla and Google after the bell. So a lot of these things could easily make price happen descent to these levels and to the upside as well. But from our point of view of what we're looking at, that would be a very probable situation by week end. Nope, not the Qs yet. Let's go ahead and look at the Fibonacci. Here's what we looked for. In SPY, we weren't sure if it was either one, 50 or 62%. Doesn't really matter in this situation. It was the Qs that is the tail that wags the dog type situation. We hit our target in the Qs, so I think it's unlikely we go up to 62% retracement at the 558 number. I think we're going to reject off of here. So if you're trading and price gets above here and goes up there, it's not really a huge deal. It just kind of changes the dynamics of this move. And right now I'm counting this as a 3-wave move for an A. A. And then I'll do this in my own time. I'm sorry about that. Let's just go. We have A. We'll get a B here. And we're looking for quite the move into a C. And that C move can go as far as 530. That's a huge move, but it is a probable move. And even lower here, if we get a rejection from here, that would be our 162 extension. So it could go all the way down here as a target. So we'll see how that goes. Then we have some retracements that may play as bounces or as our low as well. So I have this 382 from our entire move. From the bottom of this structure, that would be a 1-2 start here. And so that would be the 382 from the top to that bottom right there. Okay, so that's a possible situation. If we think that price is going to make a new high, then the 382 would be a good spot for that to land, make a bottom, and go higher. Now, if we think this is, if this ends up looking like a 5-wave move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then that's a whole nother story. Then we'll look for a retracement still, but at lower prices. And we'll look for that 524 being the bottom there. But we'll talk through that because we'll have another wave 4. If it doesn't fail, then we'll probably see new highs there. I think this is the likely situation, that purple situation, where we see so many names that still have to retrace higher before making a major correction. So that would be our target, to get some sort of double top perhaps, or just a really deep retracement. And then the Qs, hold on, for our time frame, again, this is the 724. We had that 723 in the weekly, and 724 we're looking for a high into today and tomorrow, and that could mean just overnight. Now on the downside, our time frame is 7:30. Again, the end of the month. FOMC is at 7:31 on Wednesday, so that we could bottom into FOMC, maybe get a bounce. And I'm just talking about these. The price could be anywhere during that time. Get a bounce and then retreat into 8.5. That's a possibility too. So anything. I have these projections here, but it doesn't mean that's exactly what's going to play out. I just think that, maybe this looks a little bit more where the bounce or bottom would be a little bit further out here. Okay. So this is our first one that we're looking at. We'll see where price is when FOMC and 7:30 and 31 come into play. And then we'll go from there. So that's why I do these videos so often. So make sure you hit that notification button. Let's look at the Qs. Here's the tail that wags the dog. So this is a way more important situation that kind of highlights what's happening. Here's our channel that we're in. Let's go over to the 65. And we're at the bottom of that channel. We're getting rejection even before we hit the options expected move. I know it's just a few ticks away from it, but I'm kind of projecting a channel here, and I don't think that's going to be the situation. I think it's going to look a little bit more like that, which makes sense. You have these touches up here and there, and then we'll have to tighten this up, and that actually makes the channel a lot steeper. So we'll see what happens with price. I think this is no longer valid. We got our move, and we'll be looking for price to come into possibly way down at the 445. All right, that's a huge move, but that's our measured move. Again, these are in the past videos. This is our measured move from if we break down from this head and shoulder, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. This is our measured move for that entire move. It doesn't have to do that, but it certainly has a good probability of it. VIX, and then we'll, oh, I have to show you the retracements. Sorry to bounce back and forth. On the retracement here, the Elliott wave and retracement here, this is, to me, it's a clear 1, 2, 3, and I think that the momentum is starting to gain. So I could see wave 5 being longer than wave 3, which would make this situation pretty clear. We have the 444, which coincides with exactly what we're looking for. Now, this is the situation, the 382, the 484. We tagged it today, and that's when I started loading up on our puts. That is a clear flag here, and a beautiful bear flag setup into our 382 retracement, which would be a typical wave 4. And so that kind of identifies to us that we're correct. If this starts to break down, that would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have to watch at wave 5. So the key that I almost missed this, what we have to look for to the downside is you're going to get an initial move that's going to test the bottom. This is a possible wave 1 of this wave 5. Okay, so it's going to be a 5-wave move. It's going to look like maybe it comes down to here or so, some sort of support. It's going to look like a 5-wave move. That could be it. That could be the move. It could be as long as wave 1 that happens. And then we say, oh, okay, we're going to go long here. It gets the bounce, but that bounce ends up failing. And then so now we have a wave 1 of 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down. Instead of the little 5-wave move, it becomes a wave 1 rather than the end of this entire move. So watch out after this initial impulse move. If it fails, then we have a lot more to go. Okay, so that's gonna be a huge deal. This wave 1 down here could be the wave 5. It could be complete. And if we get back above this 44 high, then we have higher to go. And that's complete. If the bounce fails, then it's going much lower into FOMC. All right. Check out the VIX just for 1 second, and we'll wrap this up. So we're looking for our bounce here. We got it. Got a huge move, and then we're down at the 200. This is the 50 moving average on the 65-minute. We're getting a bounce off of there. Nice big wick. We're retracing a little bit. And then if we start to see price go up in the VIX, we know that the market is heading down, but this is a good signal that it's happening already. So that's it. Thanks for joining us here, you guys. Short video. Happy trading, and we'll talk to you most likely tomorrow.